Good morning, students. Welcome back. Yesterday, we have discussed about the structural and process reforms in United Nations. Then we have discussed about the reforms in the jurisdiction of United Nations. And then we have discussed what does India want? What is the viewpoint of India regarding the changes in United Nations. So now we will discuss a new topic that is again India's viewpoint. The topic which I am going to teach you that is very important for board point of view. What is that topic? Actually, India also want to become a permanent member of United Nations Security Council. Yesterday we have discussed the suggested criteria that to be a permanent member of Security Council that these points should be fulfilled by the country. So India fulfill all the conditions. India is the second most populous country. It is one of the largest democracy. It is the largest democracy in the world. It is becoming economically developed country in the world. It is contributing regularly in the fund of United Nations. And India signifies the growing importance of world affairs in conduct of its foreign policy. Means always work for peace in the world. India participated in all the initiatives of UNO. Then India is having democracy, means all the criteria which were desired, which were suggested, these criteria are fulfilled by India. But some countries in the world, they don't want that India should become a member, or especially the permanent member of UN Security Council, because they know the value of veto power. They know that if India will get veto power, if India will become the permanent member, its value in the world will increase. So Pakistan doesn't want that India become a permanent member. And one more thing, some countries they say that if India is included, then Brazil, Germany, Japan, South Asia, they must be accommodated. They are also fulfilling the criteria. And one more thing, there is no member country in Security Council, no permanent member country in Security Council from South America. So Africa and South America, there is no representative. So they must be represented in UN Security Council. Now students, the world has become unipolar. I have taught you in second chapter. Because of the disintegration of USSR, there is left only one superpower. And if now there is no Cold War, but the UNO is having its role. Students, you see that USA is the only superpower in the world. Its military and economic power is so big that it can ignore UNO. Most of the members which are working in UNO, most of them are from America. Money invested in UNO is from USA. USA is the single largest contributor in UN. Then UNO is located in US. Means its organs are there, offices are there. The bureaucracy of UNO is mostly from USA. USA is having veto power. So no decision can be taken ignoring USA. In this unipolar world, this is the situation where economically, militarily, USA is powerful. USA is giving large amount of contribution to UNO. The offices of UNO are located in USA and bureaucrats from USA are there. So in such type of situation, then what is the role of UNO then? Some people may say that it is tilted towards UN, USA only, but students, it's not right. It gives us a platform where we can't oppose USA, but we can criticize the policies of USA if it is not in favor of countries of the world. So this was about UNO students. Now we will discuss about some agencies, some NGOs which are working at international level. One of them is Human Rights Watch. It is international NGO which is involved in the research and advocacy on human rights. Means it, as it is clear from its name, it works for the protection of human rights of different people living in different countries of the world. It is the largest international human rights organization in USA, and it also draws the attention of global media if there is human right abuses. Means if in any of the country human rights are encroached, then this Human Rights Watch asks the international media to pay attention about it. It also helped in building international coalitions like campaigns to ban landmines, to stop the use of child soldiers, and to establish the International Criminal Court. Amnesty International, students, it is an NGO. Again, it works for the protection of human rights. It promotes respect. In all the countries of the world, there should be respect for human rights. And according to Amnesty International, it has been told to the people of the world or to the government of the world that human rights are necessary. No government has power to encroach the human rights. This Amnesty International prepares and publishes the reports about human rights. Sometimes the governments of different countries, they are not happy with the reports which are prepared by Amnesty International, because in their report the picture is shown that here the rights are encroached or this or that. So the government of different countries are not in a happy mood when such type of reports are published by Amnesty International. But these reports play a very important role in the research and advocacy of human rights. So students, that's all for today. Tomorrow we will discuss about more UN agencies and NGOs. Thank you.